Tell everybody a little bit about what your typical day is like from start to finish.
Sure. I don't know. It totally depends. It absolutely depends on what's going on that day. But most of the time, I'll have a good idea of what my tasks are. It could be, it's a lot of document comparison a lot of the time. We have, our side's working on a deal, has an idea of what they want the deal to look like, and the client has an idea, and it's putting the two together. That's a big part of it. If you're working, on maybe a smaller deal where it's just me and the partner. Sometimes it'll be document review or due diligence, where here's 150 contracts for the exact same type of service, and I get to look at every one of them, which on one hand is like intensely boring. Let's just be honest, that is awful. But on the other hand, it is a great way to learn who's getting screwed in those deals and who's not. It's just a great way to learn. So that's usually when I do tasks, they tend to be large chunks of time, which is very different from litigation, where you've got 10 or 12 matters in a day. Usually I'm working for 1, 2, maybe 3 clients in a day, and it's a lot of touching documents. I try to get out of the office for lunch. I'm able to do that about 2 or 3 times a week. The other times, usually have to work through it.
James?
My day's probably pretty similar to Josh's still. I'd say that a large part of my work is information management, document management, just making sure that the right people have what they need to know when they need to know it in a format that they can understand it, which you'd think would be easy, but isn't always. And people generally understand things in different ways. So, what you provided to one person one time isn't what another person wants now, and may not be what that first person wanted the next time. So I spend a lot of time on that. I do draft a lot of documents. I find that I have to not answer my phone and turn off, close Outlook so that I can focus on that kind of stuff. But I kind of divide my day up. I come into the office generally with an idea of what I need to get done that day, and that's kind of a few hours of work, really. I need to look at this. I need to get through this. And then just understanding that for every matter I'm staffed on, I'm going to have a large amount of email and telephone traffic related to that I'm going to have to manage throughout the day. And so what I find is if I put myself in a situation where I've got a 9-hour day planned, when I get to the office in the morning, I will not make it through everything. I have to get a little bit more ahead of things, which honestly makes things exciting. It's a lot better than it would be if I had a job where I knew exactly what was going to happen every minute of every day. Never know who's going to be on the other end of the phone when it rings. It's nice.
Daniel?
So I don't know who all is going to see this video that we're taping right now, but I'm going to be honest that I usually don't get in the office until about 9:30.
Yeah, the whole world just heard you say that. The whole world just heard you say that.
That's 10:30 Eastern time.
Yeah. which
We're above the law, friends.
which really, really hacks the New York lawyers off when they're like calling at 8:30, and I'm like, I'm not in for another hour and a half. But
That still says it's Tuesday of last
the
week.
big thing, and there's a totally valid reason for that. We're kind of off topic now, but you will never, hardly ever, be able to control when you leave. I was walking out the door last night at 5:30 and ended up working till 11. Just something came up. The only thing you can ever really control is when you get there. And so if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'll usually do it in the morning before I go in, because you never know. What's the
Typical
question?
day.
Typical day. So I get in, I drink some coffee, cruise sports, and
Eat a
no,
bagel.
my big thing, and this has changed a lot, I think, from when I was a first year and a second year, where you spent a lot of time kind of moving information around and making sure that everybody knew what was going on. I've probably got 10 to 15 matters at any point, probably 60% of which I'm kind of running on my own with a little bit of help from partners, where I just kind of check in here and there. And so most of my day is spent jumping back between those, trying to push each one just a little bit closer towards the end. Like, very rarely will you ever get a block of 6 hours to kind of start on a project and kind of run it through to the end, which can be maddening to somebody who hates having a bunch of things in the air. And it was for me at first, because it seems like things just kind of build up. And so a lot of my day is, is making a phone call, and of course they're not there, so you leave a voicemail and you start working on something else and try to run it as far as you can until that person calls you back and you switch back over to another matter. And so it's kind of tough to maintain that balance of what you're working on and kind of keeping everything going forward at any given point. And then the other half, or 40% or so, is kind of managing the partners that you're working for. And you guys are all going to find this because, I mean, they're super busy too, and they'll, let things slip. I mean, it's just natural. Everybody does it. And so I spend a lot of time kind of pushing them along and sending emails and kind of trying to keep the various deals that I'm on track. But I don't know. I'm a big believer in getting out of the office for lunch. It makes the day go by so much better. And just to take a break rather than work through, I'm a big fan of that.